Welcome everyone to the Dr. Abs Healthcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bryan Abasolo, aka Dr. Abs, and today's guest is none other than Mike Johnson. He's a 32-year-old veteran and a fan favorite from ABC's The Bachelor Season 15 and Bachelor in Paradise Season 6. The former financial advisor has maintained a high profile since the Bachelor franchise television shows that aired in 2019, as he's been featured across hundreds of top-tier publications, was the runner-up Bachelor, and has partnered with major companies including Smirnoff, Colgate, and Hulu. He's also publishing a highly anticipated book about self-love and self-care this year. For nearly a decade, Mike has been a mentor and spokesperson with Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. He's also an avid traveler and has been to more than 30 countries. So Mike and I have a lot to talk about, so let's get going with this interview. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dr. Abs Healthcast. I'm here with Mike Johnson, my guest. What is going on, Mike? How you been, buddy?
Woo! Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate that.
You doing good? How's quarantine life treating you?
I've been well. I've been adjusting as of late. When I first started off, it was all about Oreos, and just hanging out. But now, the second week, I gained about 3 pounds, so kind of backed off that a little bit and started,
Wait, so you're
creating
gaining weight?
Habits.
You're gaining weight? I'm losing weight.
I was gaining weight. I was gaining fat, not like muscle weight.
I feel like without the gym,
Oreo weight.
Oreo weight. Is that your go-to?
Man, I love my Oreos. I love my Oreos.
For whatever reason, man, I'm like losing weight. It's like I don't know if I'm not like lifting the heavy weights like I do in the gym, and I'm just doing all this body weight stuff, but maybe I'm just not eating as much. But yeah, man, it's a struggle. Hopefully,
the calisthenics have the calisthenic people. It's just body weight, man. I've been doing a lot of body weight.
Oh no,
I haven't been gaining, but I've been cutting.
Yeah. Oh no, you could definitely get shredded with that body weight. For sure. So how's everything else, man? I mean, are you hanging in there? How's your outlook? How's your mental game right now?
How's my mental game right now? Can't lie to you, man. I am like in need of somebody to touch and hold and look at right now.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, ladies out there, if you're listening right now, Mike is going to be on the prowl after this, but
no.
But yo, man, let's talk a little bit about, I love your platform. I mean, obviously you're coming off the Bachelorette. You were a huge sensation. You were America's favorite. And I love everything that you're doing about self-love and just being your authentic self. I know you got a book coming out soon, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
yes, sir, absolutely.
It basically touches on those topics, and I'm fascinated because I feel like a lot of people struggle with insecurity and, actually being their authentic self in real life. So first off, let's go back. I want to know a little bit more about you before we get into that. Like, what was your childhood like? Talk about, what it was like growing up. I know you're originally from Dallas, right? Grew up in Dallas, Texas?
I grew up in Dallas, but I was born in Killeen. It's
okay.
K-Town. It's like a little small army town city. I was born out there. It's about 3 hours from Dallas. And then we moved around the world. I lived in Germany, lived in Washington, Arizona, like Georgia, just everywhere. And then in 6th grade, that's when we moved to Dallas. And I moved around from like 2 middle schools, but then I was in Dallas, specifically Grand Prairie. For people that know Dallas, Grand Prairie, specifically South Grand Prairie, where I grew up at.
Okay, cool.
It was just my youngest sister, my mom, and my grandma, man. That was pretty much it for the most part.
Very cool.
And that means I learned that I'm always going to lose a battle when it comes to a woman. Grew up with 3 women in the house.
Well, I think all men know that by now. At some point in their life.
If they don't, they need to get rid of it.
The quicker you learn that, the better it's going to be for you. Let's just say that.
Message. all the fellas listening, man. So I learned that at an early age, right? And I learned how to work hard, man. I was doing all the quote unquote inside chores, like washing dishes, cleaning the bathroom, but then I did the outside chores as well, like going on the roof, repairing the roof, doing landscaping, planting flowers, cutting down tree limbs and all that stuff. So hard workers. Like,
so wait, so
definitely.
who instilled like that hard work ethic into your life? I mean, obviously, you know, your grandmother and your mother, I imagine, were amazing role models for you growing up. But then you started talking about carpenting and things like that, and, you know, fixing things on the roof. Did they teach you that too?
No, but when your mom said, "Hey, I need this fixed," you figure it out. You figure it out.
Okay,
I remember. I'm sorry.
You had to learn on the fly then.
Hell yeah, man! I remember one time I had my old Lexus, and I didn't have no money. Well, I had a little bit of money, and it was either to try to get the car fixed or to buy the equipment to fix it. And I needed brake pads, and so I bought brake pads. Never in my life have I even held brake pads, but I figured it out.
Gotcha.
Literally. So it's just if it needs to get done, it got to get done one way or another.
That's awesome, man. So I imagine, you know, though the strong women in your family, I mean, are a big part of who you are today.
They're quite honestly everything. I mean, from when it comes to the way that I treat women to the way that I am in relationships to my communication style to anyone, to being empathetic, but then also having a little aggressive asshole tendencies at times. I got that all from the three ladies in my household. I remember growing up, man, it's crazy because, like, I can remember certain people that, you know, my mom would date and things that would take place. And I'm like, wow, that's a learning lesson. I think that we can find value in positive and negative things. And so, and then I'm having to deal with the aftermath. I'm having to deal with my mom crying, my sister crying. And I'm just like, damn, I never want to treat a woman like that, right? And so
100%. You know what? I can relate to that, man, because I feel like when my mom cries, it's probably like, and because of me or like anything I say or did when I was young, that was the worst feeling. Like, you know, at some point, you know, she would like spank me when I was really young, but like eventually, like, you're just way stronger than her. So it doesn't even affect you physically. But then the emotional toll of like her crying, it's like, oh, damn. It's like, you got to apologize. You gotta soothe her.
I completely understand that. I feel that, man. And another thing about growing up, this taught me something too. I can tell you a true story of what happened. My birthday 2 days after Christmas, right? My younger sister's birthday is December 6th, and then we have actual Christmas. So my mom, single mom, at the time she wasn't getting child support. And I remember for Christmas that year, like a couple weeks before, she was crying. I'm like, Mom, why are you crying? I caught her crying. She was like, because I don't have the money to be able to buy the things I want for you guys. So I think that from a financial aspect, that taught me a lot. But then also, I told my mom that year to not buy me anything for Christmas, just to buy my younger sister stuff. And that year, she got me a king size M&M, and that was it. And then my sister got all the rest of the presents, and it just taught me to be humble, you know, and thankful for what we do currently have, and that material things don't mean shit at the end of the day. And so my mom definitely taught me that as well, man.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's stories like that that just make you, like, repaying them. Like, there's nothing you could do to repay them for all the things that they did, you know, when you were young and growing up, and all the things they continue to do for you today. You know what I mean? It's like, you want to buy them a house and you want to like return the favor, you know, in some way, some form, you know, and all they're about is just, you know, loving you and just giving you everything they can. So that's amazing.
Just being present.
Absolutely.
Being present with you.
So question, man. So obviously you talk about a lot about confidence and, you know, coming out of your shell, like growing up, or was there at some point in your life like an aha moment where, you know, you just gain the confidence? I mean, you seem like a confident dude already. I mean, America knows you as this, you know, big time confident guy with a big smile. I mean, was there a point where, you know, maybe you were insecure at some point and then all of a sudden, you know, you just kind of came into your own?
Nah, definitely. I got like 3 or 4 stories that just kind of like Legos compound on top of each other.
Okay.
I guess the deeper stories I'll keep in my book for everyone to check out, because there's definitely some gritty stuff within there. But I would say it first started off just in where I grew up at. You got to show a tough face, and in the black neighborhood, I'm considered a light-skinned dude, and so that means I'm considered to be frail or a little punk per se. And when I would have a girl with me, if I were to go to like a place called Big T, It's in Dallas. Guys will look at me a certain way and feel like they can take my girl, right? And so I had to exude confidence, exude that despite what you may think of me because of the way I look, you're not going to take nothing of mine, right? And so that helped me build confidence. But then I played, this is a funny one. Actually, this is a true story. If I would have had a hometown day with Hannah, I would have taken her to my old high school football stadium and had Dak Prescott throw me the ball for the story I'm about to tell you. I played football in high school. I was trash. And the reason I was trash is, I'm going to be 100 with you.
Hey, man.
The reason I was trash, bro, is because I was not confident at all. The reason I was not confident is because I feel like the confidence is purely based upon previous action done over and over again in a positive light. Like if I continue to shoot, if I shoot 2,000 shots a day, when it's time for that, when my number is called in the fourth quarter with 0.2 seconds left, I'm gonna be confident I can make that shot because I've done it so many times before, right? And so in football, I started playing football in 10th grade. Never really played before much of that.
So you started
I
late.
played a little bit in middle school 1 year. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely did. I played 1 year in middle school and 1 year like Pop Warner, but my mom couldn't really afford it. And so I was playing. I didn't have the confidence. I was just 6'4", 165 pounds, super skinny dude, but I love to hit. So I mean, lanky out there, man. Just haven't grown into my body or nothing like that yet, right? And then one day, one of the dudes was talking noise, and I don't deal well with when someone talks noise to me. You know, people that watch the show, they can see that. And I came at him, but I didn't use my words. I just used my skills, right? And from that day, I mossed his ass like 3 times. I started to outrun people, and I just realized like nothing changed from the day previously. It was simply just having the confidence that I could do this, right? And the belief in myself. And legit, from that day forward, I was just like, I'm the shit. I know I'm the shit. I'm Mike MF and Johnson. I can do anything you could do.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's awesome. So, I mean, damn, 165, 6'4". I mean, you had a similar story to me. I was like a starting power forward on my high school team on varsity. I was 6'2", same height as I am now, but $155. And so, man, I was down low banging with some guys that were way bigger than me. But hey, man, you just did what you had to do.
Exactly.
So that's crazy, man. So you gained so much confidence via sports. I mean, you know, you gained the confidence. You came into your own physically. I imagine you started lifting weights and whatnot. You know, got in the weight room to get bigger, stronger, faster.
Definitely.
So as far as like for those out there that, you know, want to display a little bit more authenticity and want to be their authentic self, like what type of mentality do they have to have? Like you kind of talked about a little bit already, like, you know, it's not necessarily any difference from what you were yesterday or what you are today. It's kind of like a switch. You just got to get that confidence. So what would you say, like what type of mentality do people need to have to display their most authentic self?
I appreciate that question because I think that with confidence, man, it literally melts into every single aspect of one's life, from raising a child to being in a relationship to having your own podcast to going on a TV show to where you got guys that freaking look like 10s and you feel like you look like a 5. I mean, it goes into every single realm. And I would say, I'll give a strategy of what I do personally, then I will tell you how to build confidence. So the strategy that I use personally, and I always say this underneath my breath, no matter if I just feel like I need a boost of confidence. Like imagine taking a shot of an energy drink. That's my confidence boost, right? And what I do is in my head or underneath my breath, I say my first name, last name, and I say MF in the middle. So I'm Mike MF and Johnson, right? And I say it with so much grit and so much attitude. It makes me look at myself like, you damn right I am.
It's like
right?
a jolt. It's like a jolt to your self-esteem. Yeah.
Definitely so. I remember I went to Tony Robbins' event this past November. Awesome. I was blessed to be able to go.
Nice.
And he had us walk across fire, right? And we were all like, I mean, I have NFL Hall of Famers next to me and stuff, and like all these influencers and this everybody, and they're nervous just like I am. And I got a dude got a 6'8", 400 pounds. Like, dude, why are you nervous, right? And Tony Robbins would just have it. He just built us up. Literally, he built us up over 12 hours, and he would just have us say, cool moss, cool moss, cool moss, cool moss. And we were able to walk across. So for me, I've been doing it for years, which is I'm Mike MFN Johnson, right? So you're Bryan MFN Abasolo, right?
Yeah.
And saying stuff like that under your breath, it's only about you. This is why I like sports that are team sports, but I also like golf. And the reason I like golf, I personally don't watch golf, but like the concept of golf is simply because it falls on your shoulders.
Yep.
Period. And people in life need to realize that, like, no matter where you want to go, or if you just want to be happy and smile, it literally falls on your shoulders, right?
Like you make the decision to be happy. It's all on you. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely so. It people need to realize that. Like, I'm a very positive individual, but at times we have to take self-accountability and know that, hey, this is not Brian's fault. This isn't Rachel's fault. This is no one but Mike Johnson's fault. I need to take accountability. I am Mike MFN Johnson. And just talk to yourself like that, right? And then the story I would say is, I remember when I was in right after boot camp in the military, I was the leader of my boot camp. It's just I exude confidence, man. I think I'm a natural born leader. But after that, we went to it's called like technical school, and I was a cybersecurity technician. I'm not the most cyber savvy guy, at the time, definitely not. And I was starting to fail tests, and I'm extremely hard on myself. I must be the best, right? I must be the 1% of everything I do. Not from a cognitive standpoint, it's just like my own personal belief. I am great, and so I need to prove it, right? And so one of my homeboys gave me the keys to wisdom that I'll always use for the rest of my life when it comes to confidence. He said, bro, just so you can start passing your tests, literally just 2 hours every single day, consistently study. Don't look at your cell phone, nothing like that, right? Over time, that builds up. Guess what happens? You start to have more trust in yourself. When you have trust in yourself, you have confidence in yourself, right? And once you build that trust up, that confidence up, and I talk about this in my book, I got a chapter called Faith in my book, not talking about from a religious aspect, but when confidence fails, if you're looking at that test, they don't ask you nothing about something that you study, you have to have faith that you still can figure it out.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's literally, bro, it's just like when you and I both were in the gym and we look at a dude and we're like, damn, he has like the best physique possible. A part of that is just that his muscles are compounding over years of working out.
It's preparation, it's sacrifice, it's grinding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Precisely, man. And it's just, I think of the same thing from a mental aspect. You could literally put me in a room now with 10 guys that have the best bodies in the world, that are the most nicest people in the world, that have the most money in the world, and I bet you I'll still come out on top just simply because I know who I am. Yeah. I'm Mike MFN Johnson, man. I say it all the time.
That's so powerful, man. I mean, I know you. I don't know how you adapted that to the show, but I felt that type of energy and that type of confidence, like on the show. Like I wasn't, like you tell yourself, you just talked about comparing yourself to all those guys, but at the end of the day, it was kind of like a you versus you type thing. Like you're not worried about what those guys are doing. And that's the type of attitude that I took on the show, where it was like, I can't worry about, other relationships or, how much that guy's lifting weights over there, how much weight he has on the bar or whatnot. It's like, I can only control what I can control. I'm going to bust my ass on my end. I'm going to focus on this relationship and give it my all. If you let other distractions in, that's when, you know what I'm saying? Like you start worrying about other things and other people and what they're doing. I mean, that may distort your confidence a little bit.
It definitely does. And then talking specifically with that example on the show, we both were on the Bachelorette, so where there was a woman lead. She feeds off of our confidence, right? So therefore, if it's Hannah, if it's Rachel, if it's, Claire Crawley, right? No matter who it is, if it's me or Peter or whatever the case may be, right? Individuals feed off someone else's confidence. So therefore, if I can tell, or if Hannah could tell that I was losing confidence in our relationship, it plays negatively, right? It does no one good to not be confident. Literally, it does no one good to not be a confident individual. So I like how you said, you couldn't focus on Rachel's relationship with anyone else. All you could do is be Bryan.
Exactly.
And that's why I always speak about being authentically you.
100%.
All you can do is be you.
Now, to pick up off that point, being authentically yourself. Now, you talk about being uniquely yourself. You talk about embracing your differences. Everybody is unique in this planet. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm?
I hear a lot of people say like, oh, you're doing the same thing as other people or whatnot. But at the same time, like, I'm sure there's other people out there talking about being their authentic self or, self-confidence, but you're Mike Johnson, you're
Absolutely.
Mike MFing Johnson, right? Like somebody's going to feed off your energy more so off of somebody else, more so than off somebody else that maybe saying the same exact thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
Hmm.
unique, like your message, like even though it might be similar, like somebody's just going to connect with your energy way more. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So like the people that vibe with you, from what we talked about earlier, the people that vibe with you, they're going to ride with you even more when you're your most authentic self. Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think people feed off of that authentic, the Mike Johnson that's authentic, that shows themselves and is vulnerable, let's say on social media or on camera or whatnot? Like, why do you think people are
People.
drawn to that?
So let's say there's 100 people, right? And all 100 guys or girls or whatever the case, and we talk about the exact same subject. Let's say we all have a food channel, right? It's 100 of us. We all have a food channel. We're all if we compare each other and look at each other, it's like, man, we all talk about the same thing. I want to do something different. If you're passionate about that food, you're going to resonate to someone. You may come from, you may be Italian and live in New York, and they might resonate with you more than they resonate with me because I'm black and I'm from Dallas, right?
Yeah.
They can like us both equally, but they resonate with you more so because maybe it's your inflection, maybe it's your tone, maybe it's just your personality, right? And so I think that for me, I've learned that when you're authentically you, Cardi B, prime example, that girl don't give a damn, right?
Not
She
one.
wild and
Not one. Not
crazy.
one F is given ever.
No, ever, right? She might want to give an F sometimes, but she is so authentically her. People resonate with that, even if they aren't that. And the reason is because they respect it.
Yeah.
People, at the end of the day, I don't like not one of these, the new trends of having tattoos in their face. It ain't personally my thing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm still, and I like tattoos, so I'm bringing this example. I still can respect it, the artwork,
Yeah.
right? I may not want it, but I'm like, damn, that's, that the artwork looks really good, right? And so when people are completely authentic themselves, they are informed being a leader. And we all are followers in some regard. Me, you, the president, everyone follows somebody in some
Yeah.
regard. Everyone likes something that someone else does. And if you always continue to follow, no one else is going to follow you.
Yeah. I think it's smart to follow in a sense of like growing up. I mean, you want to look for mentors, people that have been there, done that, so you could take lessons from them and then become your own leader in the future. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously you make your own path, but you take all the lessons that you learn from, people that have already done that. So I want to get your take on this. What is your take on the concept of you have to love yourself before you can love someone else? Like, do you feel that's true? Do you feel like that's something that, if you do love yourself, it's going to go a long way in relationships?
That's big, man. That's huge. I know that personally, instantly. I feel that, yes, it's true, to be succinct. I feel you do need to love yourself before loving anyone else. And I don't take that without saying you could be in a relationship with someone, you can love that person you feel, and you guys can be together 13 years, whatever
Happens
the case
all the
may be,
time.
right?
Yeah.
There will come a point in that relationship to where it's tested, right?
Yep.
And if you don't have love of self, it's going to be incredibly hard for your partner to help you. Your partner can be doing everything right, but at the end of the day, it goes back to I'm MF and Johnson. I have to have it within myself. Like I love Will Smith, and I love what he was talking about with Jada Pinkett Smith. He said it's not his job to make her happy. Only you can make yourself happy. Only you, Bryan, only Rachel can make yourselves happy, right? Now, your partner, of course, should do everything in their power to keep you happy.
Yeah.
But it comes from self, right? If I, and everyone that knows it, like when I get a wife or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna be a happy ass person, which is only gonna aid to her happiness. But at the same time, if she's a negative ass individual, if she doesn't love herself, that will take a toll on the relationship.
Yeah, and bring your energy down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, bro, love of self to me is like the pavement for a car. Without some form of pavement, without some form of ground, there is no car. We don't have flying cars at this moment in time, right? And so there has to be some type of grounding for a car to do what a car needs to do, right? Whether it be on sand, on rocks, or on ground, or concrete, whatever the case may be, there needs to be some type of grounding. And so having love of self is that grounding. You can grow from there, or you can just, how we all, when we were kids, we used to have like a deck of cards and we would just like make houses with these cards.
Yeah.
But if we don't have no type of strong ground, the house is going to blow over.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just going to blow over.
Absolutely, man. So you talked a little bit about, maybe a future wife. So I know a lot of ladies out there want to know, are you single right now? I mean, obviously we're in quarantine. Are you single? Fully single?
I'm fully single. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm fully single.
So how hard has it been for you, like as a single bachelor, obviously living this quarantine life? I mean, without that intimate connection, I mean, how hard has that been for you right now?
Being single in quarantine sucks. I ain't gonna lie about it.
Yeah.
But I also think being in any position being while quarantine isn't the best. The reason it sucks for me is because I'm naturally an introvert. No, people don't realize that, but I'm naturally an introvert.
Yeah.
And we've been in quarantine so long. Like I've been going on. I've had my quarantine dates. I've never said that before, but I've had quarantine dates. I said it. So what?
Okay.
And
can you just? I love that topic. Can you explain? Like, can you break down what a quarantine date looks like?
Bro, hey, fellas, this is where you take the pen and paper out because I'm definitely a romantic.
Drop some knowledge, man. Let's hear it.
So, for example, I'm riding bikes, right? I like riding bikes now. I ride every day. I feel like I leveled up in life personally since I started riding bikes. A quarantine day, if your boo thing has a bike as well, for example, you guys could both ride out, let's say 25 minutes before. Make sure you got in your backpack, you got like, if you drink, have a little bottle of wine opener, and have a meal that you just warmed up, right? In the microwave, put in the thing, a little container, right? You go about 25 minutes out, or you go somewhere nice, secluded, really dark, so you can see, and you guys together watch the sunset as you're having dinner and wine. That's one idea, right? I got the fellas.
And I mean, this costs very little money. I mean, a bottle of wine, a couple of hors d'oeuvres, for the picnic.
Literally.
I mean, that's a cheap date, but a very romantic date that'll get you a lot of points for sure.
It definitely will. I mean, another one, like, let's say a girl likes her favorite thing is dessert, right? You can figure out, and this is how you support local businesses as well. So I know in San Antonio, a lot of businesses are still open to just carry out or pick up at the door. You can order her favorite dessert. You say, hey, today's Wednesday or Thursday, whatever the case may be. Next Monday, let's have a date night, 7 p.m., right? You on the phone with her at 6:55, or you have the phone with her at 7 o'clock. 7:10, you already have it set up to where she gets delivery of her favorite dessert, right? She's like, oh, my God. And then you on the phone with her. Well, I got it, homie. I got you. This quarantine days is going in. You can do so many sweet things for quarantine days. And then another thing, all you're doing is building up the intimacy and, to want to get together and to be together. It's just building and building and building and building. And then, but there are also times, and I think quarantine is really cool because when it comes to dating is because you have to learn how to have real conversations around personal space.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to quarantine, quarantine dates is pretty cool because you're forced to communicate or die the relationship. And so what I mean by that is you can text a person like, hey, I just don't really want to talk today. It's nothing against you. It's just, I need some space today. Yeah. Right. And I think that in a relationship, in a marriage, especially during quarantine, I have something called parallel play, which is, imagine like 5 kids at a playground running around a little playland thing, whatever you call those things. If you notice, they're not really interacting with each other. They're doing their own thing, but they're having a good time, right? Yeah. And so I think that that's a wonderful thing that happy married couples do. And in dating, you could do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I pride myself on being an effective communicator. And so I think that that's one of the cool things about quarantine dates is that it forces you to learn so much more about an individual.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I relate to that because you talked about married couples in quarantine, and it's so funny because you see all the memes about, you know, they're going at each other's necks because they're quarantined, you know, and it's all about space, like you said. You know, Rachel and I, we're not like on top of each other all the time. Like we come together and do certain things together, but then sometimes we're, you know, in our own individual space. I mean, she's on a Desperate Housewives tip right now where she's binging on that show. I was too late in the game. I don't mess with that. So I'm in the other room watching sports or, you know, doing something else or, you know, working on myself or gaining a little bit of knowledge or whatnot. And then, you know, we'll yell across the room, hey, did you hear what so-and-so did or what happened or whatnot? And then, you know, we'll come together, we'll watch a movie, you know, watch the news, whatever the case may be. And I think that's super key when it comes like to super healthy to, you know, maintain your own individuality, but at the same time come together and love hard. So totally feel you on that.
About that right there, what you just said, Bryan, is golden. To be able to be apart, but then come together, guess what you're not doing? You're not draining each other.
Exactly.
When you don't have love of self, you're always you're going to start draining your partner.
Yeah.
Right. Again, another reason why you need to have that love of self and have your own individual identity.
100%, man. So I want to transition into a little bit of Bachelor talk. Now, Peter's season of the Bachelor. You know, what did you think of it? You know, I know there was a lot of criticism out there as far as, you know, maybe people didn't like the season too much with all the drama and whatnot. Like, how did you feel that went? And, you know, obviously you were up for the Bachelor. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you think you in that position, how do you think you would fare?
I have no problem putting people in check.
Okay.
And so I think I displayed that, and I think that when people need to be in check, you need to tell them how to be. You know, you need to put them in check in a respectful manner. And so I think that's one thing I may have done differently.
Okay. So wait, time out. Picking up on that, what you just said, like we talked about, you know, the women in your family, you know, we both had that relation as far as like them crying and whatnot. It seemed from what everybody saw and what people commented on was that Peter kind of like connected with the girls that were always crying and stuff like that. I guess maybe with his relationship with his mom.
That's a very good point, man.
You, on the other hand, you're saying that you would be able to kind of like separate that and be able to, you know, basically let people know where they stand and, not fall into that trap, let's say. Like, would you say that's accurate?
I remember I'm laughing because of my ex. I remember what I told her one time. She was crying for like the 1 millionth time that day. And I'm like, babe, I'm peeping game. You just crying so you get my attention. And she started laughing. She legit started laughing. And if I was in Peter's position during some of those situations, the exact same situation, I think it's perfectly fine to, as long as you're comical about it and you say it from a loving aspect, you can put someone in check like, yo, stop that crying. Come on. Some champagne got in your mouth. You know, it's okay. Let's have fun with it. It's gonna be a meme about you later on, baby girl. I'll still give you a kiss. You know, and just have a good time. I think. I mean, I've learned from past relationships that if you bring comedy into like a sad situation, depending on how sad, of course, you gotta be respectful about it. It can play good in your favor. I think also Peter's my boy, and I feel like some of the women I don't like the way they're coming at Peter. And what I mean by that is, if you have something derogatory to say about someone or someone negative to say, sometimes it's best just to not say it at all. Yeah. And I'm not even talking about when someone asks you a question, that's one thing. I'm talking about you going out of your way.
Just put people on blast.
To put people on blast. Like, that's like, if you don't got nothing good to say, just don't say nothing at all, homie. Like, you just keep it quiet. I do think that I've always said this. If I were to ever be the Bachelor, I want to have a better body than I did when I was on Hannah's season.
Okay.
And I stick by that.
So you'd be doing a boot camp, getting ready.
Hey, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, homie. That's what Tyler was doing. Tyler didn't tell nobody this, but Tyler was getting ready because he knew he was gonna be on the show. I had never watched the show. I didn't know what the hell I was getting into, but Tyler was legit getting ready. And then also, if I were the Bachelor, it's gonna be like having a bird's eye view of how I date, right? And what I mean by that is it's gonna be very authentic. So when I was on Hannah's season, I was wearing my do-rag, right? I was true to myself, you know. I'm going to protect the women, but at the same time, I have no problem putting someone in check. And then I also have no problem being extremely romantic, you know. And
yeah,
I would take every relationship individually, which I think Peter did a great job of doing.
Yeah.
And I think that all leads, it's hard, man. It has to be super hard to, especially when you get out like top 4. Like, you obviously care about all 4 of those individuals.
Yeah, you're breaking hearts at that point.
Yeah, I mean, and for you to focus only on that relationship and nothing outside, I think Peter did a wonderful job of doing that. I know I would do a great job of doing that. And I do think there was also some, you got to be a bit more confident in yourself, which we spoke about earlier, in your decisions. And I mean, I know my resume speaks for itself of what I do right.
100%, man. So let's talk a little bit about, you know, the show has been criticized in the past as far as diversity is concerned. How do you feel that the show has handled the whole diversity issue? And, you know, based on the criticism, you know, that it's received in the past, like, what do you feel needs to change, or what do you think, you know, the show needs to do in order to change that perception?
So it's easy. The one word is representation. It literally comes down to one word, representation. Yeah. Out of the past 24 bachelors, they've all had very, very fair skin. Whether they were predominantly white and or mixed, or a very light Latin individual. There's not a lot of representation for Asian men. There's not a lot of representation for Black men. A lot of representation for full Latino men, Indian men. The list goes on, right? And neither for the Bachelorettes. Your wife, Rachel, was the only representation for all of Black women. So all the Black people that watch that show, out of there's been 15 Bachelorettes and 24 Bachelors, right?
Yeah.
So all of those leads, we only have one individual that was fully other than white.
Yep.
That's atrocious. It really is. It's bad. It's just bad at the end of the day. And I think whoever is the next, because we got Claire for the Bachelor, whoever's the next Bachelor, white, Black, purple, pink, no matter what, I know for a fact that money talks, and the Bachelor is looking at Love is Blind. They're looking at these other new shows, and they're seeing way more representation. So I know that they're going to, and I've said this on Good Morning America, well, the next 2 seasons we will have a Black Bachelor or a Bachelor that's not predominantly white but has Latin roots. It will be an individual that is obviously not Caucasian in some form, and that's just to stay relevant. And I know it for a fact.
Amen, bro. I hope that's the case. So I guess the question is, if they were to ask you, you know, I know you were in the running for the Bachelor this previous season. I mean, would you say yes if they asked you?
I want to, since I'm able to be on your awesome podcast, I want to say this. People will be acting like I'm campaigning for this. The answer is no. I'm not campaigning for nothing. I'm just responding to individuals' questions, right?
Yeah.
And I'll say what I've always said, man. If I'm in a relationship and I'm in love, if I'm in a relationship at the time, I'm not going to do this show, right?
Yeah.
If I'm single, working on myself in the right headspace, which I'm already single or right headspace, then I have no problem not to do it.
Yeah, no, you.
I would.
No, yeah, you see like a lot of people. I mean, it's like they're in relationships prior to the show, and all of a sudden, like a week before, I mean, just for the opportunity or for the limelight, like they're breaking up with this person and coming on the show, and it's like,
exactly.
I mean, are you, again? I guess the whole saying is, are you in it for the right reason? I mean, you literally were just all about this other person, you know, in real life, and now all of a sudden you're on the show. So I know it can get a little.
Definitely, it is real. I'll say this: when I actually auditioned to be the Bachelor, mind you, and this is no shade, I've never really watched the show. Prior now, I've watched it, of course. You know, I'm all into it now. I'm over here live tweeting, having a good ass time.
Do you feel like that was an advantage for you, like just having no concept of what was going on? And
it was definitely an advantage because I was, guess what, unique and authentic.
Yeah, because you come in with like no preconceived notions. You come in, you're just like happy-go-lucky. Like, I'm Mike MFing Johnson. Like, let's go. Like, whatever comes my way, I'm open for it. But I feel like other people, like, they watch the show and there's like, you know, maybe they have like a playbook coming in of what they, you know, want to do, and that wouldn't be the case with you.
No, bro. If I was a Bachelor, it was. I've joked about this with my friends because I know it probably don't work this way. What I would want to do is this, and what I think would happen would be this. What I want to do is, if I know I'm not feeling a girl, I'm probably going to tell her like, "Yo, all right, there's no need to wait to the rose ceremony," you know. But what I think would happen would be, I'm going to wait to the rose ceremony, of course, but because I'm probably going to be told to, which I have no problem doing that because that's, you know, they have a certain
they have to do what they got to do. Yeah,
exactly. They got to do what they got to do. But I'm gonna be I think I would bring a lot of comedy just because how authentic I would be, and it'll be like it'll be like eating popcorn watching your favorite movie. It's like, no, he didn't say that because that's real. I would say the same thing. That's what I would bring.
Oh man, I mean, Bachelor producers. I mean, I'm loving this content right now. As far as like, I'm already anticipating a season with you on it. Like, I would love to see all that. So, all right, man. So, thanks for that Bachelor talk. Now, I understand that you were also, I don't know if you still do a little financial advising. Are you still in the financial advising game?
I am not currently active as a financial advisor anymore.
Okay.
This week, it's funny. I'm still in it every single day, though, but I'm not advising individual clients.
Okay. So that was basically something that you had done for several years, safe to say?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So
did that for several years. Great.
So tying that in with, you know, all the troubles that people are going through now financially, I mean, financial health, I feel is like so important. I feel like physical health is on everybody's minds, but then also the economy and financial health and, you know, just surviving in the quarantine period is essential. So, you know, what would you say, like being a former, you know, and having all that knowledge of a financial advisor, what would you say are like 3 tips that you would help, you know, if you wanted to help somebody, you know, maintain financial health or gain financial health in this tough time? What would you advise them on? Like maybe like 3 quick tips.
1, be honest with your financial standing. You know, if you have debt and you know that you're not going to make it more than 3 months, that's something that you need to pay attention to, right? Or if you can go the next 4 years and you got money in a savings account, but you're not capitalizing on the roller coaster of the market, that's something you need to pay attention to. And if you are making excuses for things and anticipating the government to help you out, you need to really pay attention to that.
Yeah.
I would say, again, goes back to you being yourself. It's just you in this world at the end of the day, and don't think that the government has to help you out because we don't know what the presidency is going to do in the future. And, you know, take proper steps when we get out of this to make sure that you have 3 to 6 months of savings. After that, you don't need nothing else in savings. You need to be invested in the market. I would say, personally, I'll call it out like it is. Get you a Vanguard ETF. They have the lowest commission fees, right? Do the Vanguard, you know, VOO account, VOO, you know, and set aside and put a small amount of monthly income into that every single month. Get the Vanguard VOO account. It's an ETF, wonderful ETF, and put I ain't gonna tell you what amount because everyone's different, right?
Yep.
Small monthly amount and do DCA or dollar cost averaging.
Got it. Great advice, man. Great advice. Thank you for that. So I want to take it to social media and tie that in with, being your authentic self. Now, obviously it's hard for people to be authentic in real life as it is, like one-on-one, but I think a lot of people have a difficult time of being authentic on social media. So, why do you think that is that, somebody needs to gain confidence to be expressive, and especially somebody like you're in the public limelight. So it's like Mike Johnson had confidence before, where now he's being thrusted, his platform is being thrusted in front of hundreds of thousands of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would you suggest to that person who's, growing their own brand, growing their own business online, and, they need to expose themselves and basically put themselves out there and come out of their shell, and, what would you suggest to those people in order for them to put their best face forward in an authentic way?
Awesome question. I love it, man. Beautiful. I think you said a couple different things. One, I'll speak on coming out of your shell. You got to realize the people closest to you, your best friends, the ones that talk crap about you because they love you, right? Your sister, your brother, your family members. Those are going to be the people that may not believe in you right away. I'm just being honest.
I think we've all experienced that.
Yeah, that's just being honest. For you to come out of your shell, there comes a certain point where you got to stop asking questions and put action. So, for example, me, for example, I never used to post that much. I never even have I deleted my Instagram for a while. But now I tell people I have asthma. I just say whatever because people resonate with you. So if you want to be a YouTube star, right, and you're in Dallas, Texas, and you want to start interviewing people, who cares that someone thinks you're fat? Who cares someone thinks you're ugly? Who cares what anyone else thinks? Because guess what? That high school football star, he's just happy that someone's interviewing him, right?
Yeah.
And when you have the confidence, because you're out of your shell now, they feel your energy. If you over here being a little scaredy cat, oh my God, this is so-and-so, they're going to feel that as well. So there comes a certain point where you got to realize, hey, my mama loves me, my brother loves me, my sister loves me, but their natural instinct is to protect you, right? And for you to go out and do some entrepreneurial type stuff, come out of your shell per se, you're more than likely, per statistics, not going to make it. So they're doing their job of just trying to protect you, right? So you need to realize, stop asking the question and just do it.
Yeah.
And then you ask the thing on how to position yourself online. It's hard when it comes to authenticity because people don't get the rest of the message. All they see is exactly what you put out, right?
Yeah.
So if you put the word gay out there, for example, by definition, gay means happy, right? But the exact same word gay, someone could take that and say, oh, Mike hates gay people, right? When it could be, no, Mike put gay on a shirt because he's happy, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to be cognizant that how people may perceive it because they don't know what the true message is.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the biggest key difference between social media and in person, right? But then you have Cardi B, who don't give a damn. She will say, me and my friends have talked about some of the things she said.
No filter.
That she's been able to get away with, for example, being able to put, drugs in a man's drink. But then someone else goes and say that's completely wrong, right? She's wrong for that too, for the record. But, and you're based on your question, Cardi B is at a point to where she don't care. That is her brand. Her brand is to be unfiltered, right? So if you're someone that's starting, I love pillows, right?
Yeah.
If you're someone that's starting a pillow business, let's say Chick-fil-A, for example, their brand, they're a Christian brand, they're closed on Sundays, right? They know that they're going to lose certain people. But at the same time, they know how good their product is. They know how good their values are. And guess what? By being a leader and being true to themselves, authentic, people resonate with that.
Yep.
People
100.
may go to Chick-fil-A strictly because they know that they're Christian
Yep.
and they've been a leader in putting it out there. So for people online, you have to speak your truth.
Absolutely.
You got to speak your truth.
And it's crazy because you see, how have you handled, because obviously coming off of this show, there's a lot of passion. Bachelor Nation is a beast. And, they will laud you and love you and show you all this love. But then, you got your trolls that are going to be criticizing you and whatnot. And, I feel like those people that are their most authentic self, like you said, like those people that ride for you are just going to ride for you even more. And I think people see that vulnerability and they're like, wow, I really like this person, and they'll follow you. They'll like your stuff, whatnot. And then, but at the same time, you may also be opening up yourself for criticism. Like, for example, like a guy takes off his shirt or a girl posts a picture without makeup. You know what I'm saying? They get flooded with, even celebrities, whatnot. They'll get flooded with love, but then like, oh, she doesn't look good or whatever. Like she looks whatever criticism they get. Like, how have you handled? Because I know every person in Bachelor Nation has gotten criticism and at the same time a ton of love. I mean, which is way supersedes all of the hate. But how have you handled like any type of negative criticism that you've gotten, from your New Game platform?
I realize that, like you said, if people love you, they gonna love you. They gonna ride with you no matter what. Period. Right. But then I've also realized on the complete opposite, people may look at you and be like, I don't like Bryan. Period. Just because I don't like Rachel.
They just have it in for you.
Yeah, they just have it in for you. So at the end of the day, it's like, hey, you don't know me in person. Because if you knew me in person, I promise you would like me. If you didn't like me,
yep,
that's you. That's because I mean, if I'm a good human being, I'm not hurting no one. So be it. Someone the other day said, "Oh, I don't like Mike. He talks too damn much. He wants to be the Bachelor too bad." I'm like, when have I posted one thing on my page about it because it was April Fool's Day. That's the only time in over a year of being known for being on the Bachelorette, right? The only time ever. I've never brought it up without someone else bringing it up.
Yeah.
And so specifically to that lady, there's nothing I could do. That's how she feels about me.
Yeah.
That's just how she feels about me. So if I clap back at her, all people want to know is that, okay, you can't mess with Mike, but then also people want to know that I'm sensitive to that.
Yeah, like you fed into her energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, find laughter in it, man. Find laughter in it.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. So just summarizing the whole Bachelorette experience, like what did you learn? Like for the better, for the worse? Like how has this changed you as a person?
It's maybe ask better questions when dating. Let's move things along. Ask better questions when dating. It's made me, to be honest, I'm even more confident now. Like you're thrust in a position to where so many different diverse backgrounds, chasing after one woman, you see that person kissing that one woman. So I'm way more confident. And then I would say it only further instilled that anything is possible. I went on the Breakfast Club, man. I've been watching the Breakfast Club for years. It's an awesome podcast.
Nice.
No one's ever watched it.
Love that show.
And like it only made me further instill like anything is possible. Like legit, like anything. If you're just your true authentic self, you can do it.
And I love what you said, man. I had interviewed Shan Boudram, who's like a sexologist, and she was talking about, you said about becoming a better dater, asking better dating questions and things like that when you're one-on-one with somebody. And I think just like with anything, if you're shooting in the gym, you're getting ready to, be a great basketball player, a great recording artist, whatever your passion is, like if you want to, not only learn about yourself, but you want to find that person, that significant other, like you need to work on yourself and become a better dater. You need to practice it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So whether it's, going on a ton of first dates and just, learning to ask the right questions, like you said, and then in turn, you'll actually learn more about yourself. So when that, that right person comes along, you're going to be ready.
Absolutely. People can be doing quarantine speed dates right now.
Yep.
You can set up 15 quarantine dates and just knock them out. I mean, and say, hey, I'm going on 15 dates today. We got 5 minutes, baby. Let's talk.
Man, I'm sure you would have a line out the door right now, ready for that. So if you want, we could take some names.
No.
All right, man. So I want to end this Healthcast with some rapid fire. So I'm just gonna rattle off the question, and you're just gonna give me the first thing that comes to your mind. All right.
Let's go.
All right. So your biggest pet peeve about the opposite sex or a past significant other?
Like when a woman like paints her nails and like it starts to chip and you leave the chipping on. Like either get it repainted or take it all off.
What about right now in the quarantine, man? The nail salons are closed. What do you do?
Take it all off. Just go natural. Go bare.
Oh, man, that's funny. All right, your favorite quarantine snack. I already heard you mention one prior, so what would you say besides the Oreos?
Oh, man, favorite quarantine snack besides Oreos? Peanut butter and carrots.
Peanut butter and carrots.
Complete opposite, I know.
All right, first thing or activity that you're going to do when you come out of quarantine?
I'm dancing.
You're dancing?
Somewhere.
Where are you dancing, bro?
Yeah.
Where are you dancing?
I might come out there to see y'all in Miami again. You know,
hey,
we all go out one night.
There's plenty of that down here, man. So you definitely won't have trouble finding that. All right, the first person you're gonna see when you come out of quarantine.
I need to see my mom. Her birthday was Tuesday. I need to see my mom.
Nice, man. Yeah, I definitely want to see my parents. They actually came by. I haven't seen them in like 2 months, but they came by yesterday to give Rachel a gift. But man, nice. Gloves, masks, we didn't even hug each other. You know, we maintained that social distance, and it was tough, man. You just want to give your mom and your dad a hug, but you know, it is what it is. But I feel you on that, moms, for sure. A book recommendation, something that you've read in the past, something that you're currently reading.
I'll tell you the book. This is the book I'll recommend, which is the book that I was reading when I was being auditioned for the Bachelor. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Carnegie.
That's amazing. So real quick, just to touch on that topic, because I find that interesting, because prior to me going on the Bachelorette, you had mentioned Tony Robbins. I had about a 20 to 30 minute commute every day to work to my former chiropractic office. I would listen to the audiobook of Unleash the Power Within by Tony Robbins, as well as The Power of Positive Thinking, which is another book, another great recommendation I have. But that just got me in the zone. So like, I imagine that just prepared you for what was to come.
Definitely, man. I think that, what we continue to put in our mind is what we become. And
absolutely.
So, I can go down a tangent with that.
All right. Your favorite feature on a woman? Ass. You're an ass man. All right. Have you ever ghosted a woman? And if so, why?
I have. And I've ghosted this woman because I was just immature at the time.
Okay. So you weren't ready for what she was bringing to the table.
I didn't want it. It wasn't that I wasn't ready. I didn't want it. Not from her.
Okay. Who is your Hollywood crush?
Ooh, who's my Hollywood crush? Her name is Summer Walker. She's a singer. I love her voice right now.
Okay.
Summer Walker. Or Sabrina Claudio.
Okay. All right. Nice.
I like R&B singers.
Okay. Is that what you're pumping in your apartment? That music?
Definitely.
All right. What is your spirit animal, if you had to choose?
Bro, I'm a monkey. I'm a goofy monkey. I'm like running around trying to climb up stuff, but I'm really intelligent like a monkey would be. But then I'm just like being stupid and having fun.
Okay. I like that. All right. Last one, buddy. Who would play you in the movie of your life?
Who do the ladies like?
Whoever the ladies like.
The ladies like Michael B. Jordan.
They do. I
was like, Michael B., hey, you got me, homie? Make sure you got that Creed body still.
Right. He's got to represent you well. All right, man. So I love the interview, man. It was so insightful, so informative. You're a really deep dude. You have a great personality, man. I wish you nothing but the best in the future. I mean, I really hope you get that gig, as I think out of everybody, you're ready. Like, I think you were made for that role, to represent. And, I really hope you get that. So before I let you go, I just want you to let everybody know what you got going on. Obviously talk about the book, where, when it's coming out, what it's going to get a little synopsis of what it's going to be about, and just, drop your social handles and just anything that you want to tell everybody.
Definitely. So I have a book coming out later this year. It's going to be in August, September timeframe. COVID changed some things around. The book is going to teach you how to master joy, right? How to master your joy and master your freedom, and how to be personally intimate with yourself. Because those things touch every single facet of your life, whether it's trying to get that new promotion at your job, to dealing with a dude that you've been, trying to get off your mind for a while. And, definitely pick up the book. My website, Mike Johnson, coming soon. My social handles are Mike Johnson 1_ on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. And then also, very soon, I will be giving more information on how to overcome insecurities.
Okay. You say that with a smile. You're like...
Definitely. I always got something on my sleeve, man.
Okay. All right, man. So
also,
big.
I'm in the new Ink magazine, April edition. So check that out.
Very cool. So definitely check that out. Ink magazine, April edition. A lot of big things going on for Mike Johnson. Mike MFing Johnson, as he refers to himself. I love that. So yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate you, and good luck with everything moving forward.
I appreciate you as well, man. Anything you need from me, just let me know.
Awesome. All right, man. We'll talk soon.
Have a great one.
All right. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
Peace.